right. Thanks everybody for joining us. I see a few people got here early. We'll get started in just a few minutes at the top of the hour. So just hang tight and we'll get started soon. All right, well, we're just at the top of the hour. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for joining us for the perfect formula for successful demo videos with Bob Riefstahl. My name is Sammy Focarino. I'm the Senior Events Manager here at Consensus, and I'm going to be your moderator for today's session. This webinar is presented by Consensus. Consensus is intelligent demo automation software that helps scale pre-sales with interactive video demos. You can learn more at goconsensus.com. If you didn't already know, or if you didn't attend our previous event, the biggest event in pre-sales, Demo Fest, is coming live and in person in 3 different cities this year as Demo Fest X. We had a ton of fun at our first event in Salt Lake City last month, and we'd love for you to join us at one or both of our upcoming events in Northern California or London. To register for any of these events, you can visit goconsensus.com/demofestx. I'll also post the link to register in the chat box. All right. We encourage you to participate in today's webinar. Our speaker, Bob, will answer any questions at the close of the presentation, but you're welcome to post your questions at any time through the Q&A box on the right side of your console. If at any time you're having technical difficulties, press the help button on the right side of your screen. We're really excited to have Bob with us here today. Bob is the founding partner at 2Win Global. His firm is the worldwide leader in providing pre-sales soft skills, discovery, demo, storytelling, and winning with executives, programmatic training to technology companies. He's the author of Demonstrating 2Win and co-author of Rule of 24 and dozens of blogs, webinars, and podcasts. And today he's going to be talking to you all about the perfect demo video formula. And with that, I'll go ahead and stop sharing and turn the rest of the time over to you, Bob.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, the perfect demo video formula. Nothing's perfect, but we had to get you here somehow. So we thought we'd use that language. But I will tell you that what we're going to talk about today, I think you'll find some really good ideas and some insights that maybe you hadn't considered before, especially if you are somebody who has to create demo videos of some form or fashion. And we'll talk about a variety of things. In particular, what I want to talk about are, when it comes to a formula, is to make sure, number one, you're considering the intention of the demo video you're making. While that may seem obvious, we'll talk about some of the subtleties of that and why they matter. And then when it comes to execution, or actually building the demo video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure when it comes to the execution of that demo video. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with a little bit on authenticity, you know, kind of being yourself within the bounds of being intentional. You know, it's, you know, we're often in a little bit of a selling motion of some fashion when it comes to creating demo videos. Yet we want to be authentic and be ourselves. And it's an interesting balance between all of these different elements. And so when I thought about this formula, if you will, and having a repeatable formula, quite frankly, it reminded me of something that I do as a hobby, which is I brew beer. And I usually brew it. I mean, it's a hobby. It's not like, you know, I don't tons of money in it or anything else. It's just something I like to do. If somebody's having a wedding, I'll make them a special, you know, brew. So, you know, it might be a porter, or it might be a sour, or even an ale. And even though they look so different, the formula itself and the process is all pretty similar. I mean, what ends up happening is you first boil the wort, it's called. It's all you're doing is putting water and malt into a pot and boiling it for an hour. And this is all part of intention, right? You know, and we'll go back to the demo video in a moment, but having a formula and following a process makes a difference in what the outcomes are. So whatever flavor the beer is, and style beer is, you boil it. And then depending upon what kind of taste you're looking for, you'll put certain types of hops in at different times, but you'll add hops. And then you have to cool it. It doesn't matter if it's a major brewery or it's in my, you know, in my aluminum pot, you're going to cool the wort because you got to add the yeast. And if the wort's too hot, you kill the yeast. So you cool it down, then you add it into some type of a vessel, you put a stopper on it in an airlock, and it ferments, and then you decide, I'm going to keg it or bottle it. It's a formula. And it's amazing how consistent the outcome is if you just follow the formula. And in a lot of ways, again, making demo videos is like making beer. It's following a formula. And again, that formula that we work with clients on is having good intention. We work with them on the execution of the actual creation of the video itself so that they can be self-sufficient, and then work with them on their authenticity. This is an interesting one, authenticity, because a lot of people come to us and they're really wooden. And if you on camera, and they're really nervous on camera, wooden, you know how it is. It's like, it's not their real personality. It's as if they're reading. And with a little bit of coaching and just some discussion, a little bit of education, people become themselves pretty quickly. And it's amazing the outcomes you can get when people are authentic and they follow a formula. So let's start with intention. You know, definition of intention is, you know, a determination ahead of time to act in a certain way. If you think about an actor, they are very intentional about taking on the role that they've been cast in. You know, you're not actors, and I'm not suggesting you become an actor at all. However, having good intention, you know, what you intend to bring about by your demo video, you know, synonyms like aim or goal or objective or your plan or your purpose are really important to just think about that before you start scripting or creating your bullet points, or for sure before you start recording the video. What's your intention? What's the outcome you're looking for? What type of emotion are you trying to inspire on the viewer side of the video. So when I think about intention, I also think about where within the sales process, and I'll call it the demo process, where demo videos typically would drop in. Think about where you are in that process. So if let me share my screen here. If I come over here and look at demo video intention of where you're at in the process, if you're in the biz dev portion of the process, kind of the attract part of the process, right? You're in here, and you've been asked to send a demo video, or you're in business development and you want to send a demo video, but you want it to be personalized, like you want to create it. What is the intention you're going for? Are you trying to, book a meeting? Is that the outcome you're looking for? So if you're trying to book a meeting and you're trying to get them to watch the demo video and book a meeting, then think about what your intention is here. In that case, you're trying to inspire or motivate in some fashion. So you got to get in that headspace a little bit when you go to create that video. Maybe you're trying to convince them to do discovery. So your intention there from an outcome perspective, get a meeting for discovery, you would have that in mind as you created the demo video, because you bake in some questions that you need answers to ahead of a demo to convince them to give you those answers and to book a meeting for discovery. You might be just trying to go for it, depending upon your app and the price of your app and the subscription of it, might be a demo video to try and get a close, right out of the track stage. So again, where you're at in this process matters. If you're in the discovery stage, maybe you want to float an insight in discovery. Get the people that you're going to do a discovery for. So this is sending a demo video ahead of discovery. You want to float an insight and get them to talk about it so that at the opening of your meeting, you can have a discussion about what you sent them. Or in the demo stage, I'm not saying during a live demo, but I'm saying ahead of a demo. Ahead of a demo, maybe what you want to do is do a little bit of education on the navigation of your solution, so that when you get to the live demo, that's all done. You don't have to go into any navigation, and you gave them the perfect example of navigation as it applied to them. Maybe in addition to navigation, or instead of navigation, you put in the number one area of the software you want them to see, something that's maybe very differentiating, that could motivate them to be really interested in the solution. You want to demo that and put it in a demo video. Now you might be thinking, no, I don't want to do that. I want to save that for the live event. Here's what you do. In the live event, do it again. Open the demo. We call it end of the story first. Open the demo with this James Bond technique where you show the same thing again. Powerful way to leverage demo videos in order to, again, think about what your outcome is. Your outcome is to motivate or excite when it comes to them showing up for the demo. For post-demo, we have found great success with clients that use demo videos for the parking lot. Those questions that came up during a live demo, whether it was virtual or in person, that you chose not to answer, or you didn't have an answer for, or you needed to show a workaround for, but you didn't want to pause the entire event, chew up a lot of time to try and work on that. Then you realize strategically you're better off putting it in a parking lot and taking a note on it and doing a follow-up. The beauty of that, of doing follow-up, is that number one item, you can potentially put that in as another video that you send to them, as well as the parking lot follow-up. Okay. And in the parking lot follow-up, the beauty of sending a demo video instead of trying to book another meeting is it shortens sales cycles, because they can consume that video whenever they have the moment to do it. And you obviously would encourage them to do that without having to go 2-3 weeks out to get on everybody's calendar again to show all the follow-up and do a follow-up demo. That it will shorten your sales cycles. And I'll tell you, in an environment like we're in now, where people's budgeting is starting to contract, and we're getting into a little bit more of a challenging economic situation, long sales cycles are definitely your enemy. So anything you can do to speed up the sales cycle is great. And using that post demo video, again, can help do that. Client success, maybe what you want to do is extend their use of the solution, or get it into for other departments. So having a crisp, good demo video that follows the right formula, quite frankly, is a great way to do that. So lots of different choices when it comes to how you can accomplish and have intention in your demo videos. So let's talk a little bit more about intention, and let's talk about, when it comes to intention, let's talk a little bit about who the audience is, okay? And when I say who the audience is, I'm referring to something we call a value pyramid of who's on the receiving end of the demo video that you're sending. I say this from an intention perspective because what you present in the video and the type of benefits that you provide most certainly matters who you think is going to watch the video itself. So let me share my tablet again and talk about that. So at the very bottom of the value pyramid, it is what we would refer to as individual contributors, right? If you're sending a demo video ahead of a demo and the people that are going to watch it are all individual contributor stakeholders, you're probably going to want to have benefits in the video that talk about how their job's going to be easier, faster, more productive, things that they're going to care about, an individual contributor is going to care about. Okay. If however, the target of your demo video is more interest getting and it's going after somebody that's in middle management. Now, when it comes to when you show some element of your software that's directed at middle management, your key message, when you think about the intention of the video, your key message is really going to be about productivity improvement or reduction in risk. That's what managers care about. How do I improve my team's productivity? How do I reduce risk? That's how they're often paid or bonused. That's what they care about. If you're sending something to somebody a little bit more in senior management, and it's a demo, like a salesperson's asked you to send a demo video to the economic buyer that in their mind summarizes what is the real value of this solution, and there's some element of the demo that you believe is applicable to them, they're going to care about strategic initiative, right? Getting to the corporate goals and accomplishing that. So it becomes important to recognize who this is going to. Now, I'm going to guess that you're saying, well, if I'm sending something pre-demo, it's probably going to all the people, like I'm hoping everybody watches the navigation and the key functionality. That's why on the side, there's this term called "so you can," and it drives upward on the value pyramid. So what essentially that means is if you're showing something that's a functionality down here, when you finish the video, you'll talk about how that enables the entire team to improve their productivity, which is going to lead to you achieving your corporate goals and strategic initiatives. You'll actually take a moment and say those kinds of statements so that you incorporate everybody from an intention perspective into that particular video. So lots of options when it comes to how you direct, if you will, your intentions in the type of people you do and the type of statements that you make in your demo video. Now, when it comes to the emotional side of intention, okay, like how can you use your voice within the bounds of your personality? How can you use your voice to get certain emotions across? Well, you can change the volume or how close you are to the microphone when you want to make a really key point. Change the pace when you want to get excited. You speak a little bit faster, but you have variety in your pace and you can slow down. You have strategic pauses. So I'd encourage everybody on the webinar, if you can take a quick screenshot, take a screenshot of this in terms of different things to consider when it comes to expressing intentions, the emotional side of intentions, and being able to use your voice, especially in a video, be able to use your voice to change those intentions. The other thing about the emotional side is how can you adjust your on-camera presence? So in person, yeah, you can use movement in a room, but on camera, your movement needs to be in smaller movements. If you're a big hand gesture person, this looks a little weird, but if I'm in person and my hand gestures are all right here, I look like some type of little dinosaur or something with little short arms. So it's appropriate for the venue. Your posture, your eye contact, right now everybody thinks I'm making direct eye contact with them. It's the superpower, if you will, of a webcam. But your gestures, your facial expressions are a big one to me. If what you want to do is express the emotion of their existing pain and how you're going to release them from that pain, I'm going to talk about pain, and I'm purposefully going to have a painful look on my face when I talk about pain. If I'm talking about pain and I'm smiling, it's a little weird, The release of that pain, the resolution of that pain, you can be a little bit more positive in your expression. So just small things that can matter when you make a demo video. The other key thing is having an intention of what it is you're trying to have as an outcome to the video. So when I think about outcomes, I think about what is it that I'm trying to get accomplished when I do this video? Am I trying to engage the audience? Am I trying to reassure them? Am I trying to prove something? Is it surprise or intrigue, motivate, challenge? It's important to recognize that. This is another thing I think you should take a screenshot of. If what you're trying to do is engage them, then make sure at the opening of your video, you have something that's engaging, that gets their attention. And we'll talk about that in a minute in terms of structure and the execution. So consider from an intentions perspective some of the emotions. So you might be wondering who's this person over on the side of the screen. It's an actor and a musician named Ice Cube. He's been around for a while. He's a fabulous actor, funny guy, talented. He's played a lot of different roles, and it's interesting how he can use intention in unusual ways. And what I want to show you is a video. And in this video, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. In this video, what you're going to see is an interview with Jimmy Kimmel and Ice Cube. And Jimmy Kimmel is going to give Ice Cube some lines that are kind of romantic lines or, sweet lines, that type of thing. But he's going to ask them to apply the intention, if you will, of anger to those lines. And watch how well this works, like how he can actually accomplish that. Take a listen.
All right, say these as angrily as you can. Lavender body wash makes my pores tingle.
Lavender body wash make my pores tingle.
I want a love like the love in the Notebook, a love that splits the sky.
I want a love like the love in the Notebook, the one that split the sky, man. Split the sky.
This is wonderful. And this is great for young actors as well. It's an exercise. All right, one more. You ready?
Let's do it.
OMG, did you do something new with your hair? I love it.
OMG! Did you do something with your hair? I love it. Love it.
That's Ice Cube, everybody. That's acting right.
Brilliant, right? It's a testament to the power, if you will, of being able to apply an intention, in this case, an emotion, to a line. So again, if you want to excite somebody, put a little excitement in your voice within the bounds of your personality, right? You've got to be yourself. You got to be authentic, but it does matter. It helps with your actual, with creating a demo video. So come back here. Let me summarize. When it comes to intention, here's what I ask you to consider. Okay, things to consider from a demo video intention, right? Where are you in the demo pipeline, if you will, the sales process, the sales pipeline? But hey, we're making demo videos here, so let's take ownership of and call it the demo pipeline. What's your desired outcome? Like, what do you want to have happen from an intent perspective? Do you want a meeting? Are you trying to answer questions? Are you trying to get them to extend the use of the solution? You got to keep that stuff in mind, because that helps you be emotionally intent as you go forward. So all good things to consider when it comes to intentions. Okay. So let's now move on to demo video execution. Like, what are the things to consider when you actually build a demo video? I do not mean to suggest those of you out there that do demo videos now that you don't know what you're doing. Of course you know what you're doing. But I think I might be giving you a couple of ideas here to consider when it comes to the creation of videos that perhaps you hadn't considered in the past. I want to start with this whole concept of tell, show, tell. It's something that we teach when you're giving a live demo, whether it's live virtual or live in person. It's a concept that we teach that I got to join the meeting over here too. That, let me put the number in. That we teach that's really important for any time you have a demo topic. And I'll just talk about it here. And it's referred to as tell, right? We're going to tell, we're going to show, and then we're going to tell. Meaning, at the opening of a demo topic, when I'm live, what we train people to do is make sure you just take a moment before you're in the software and set some context to what somebody's about to see. Not with the mouse, not making movement, not clicking on anything, not typing anything. Just take a moment, get their attention, and just say, hey, here's what we're going to talk about next. And maybe put a little story in it for context purposes. Like, here's the situation that I know you're dealing with today. we learned from discovery that, right, it's an opening tell, a little bit of context. Then it's a show. You show the software, maybe it's screenshots, maybe it's a whiteboard, but for the purposes of a demo video, call it show the software. Then you summarize and provide the benefit. Now you're in person, virtual or live, you're with people. They'll wait for your benefit. You're in a video. As soon as that show's over, a lot of people bail. That's the end of the video. They're gonna talk for a minute and right. A lot of people do that. So what we recommend is when you do a demo video, change this up just a little bit. Okay, right here, what you're going to do is you're going to take that closing tell, and you're also going to put it at the front of your demo video. It's short, it's not a long, minute, 2 minute discussion of all the benefits of what they're about to see, what they're going to get out of that. There's no slideware. You're not going to do that. You'll kill them. You'll kill the audience. They'll bail before they even watch the demo video. But it's just like a 30-second opportunity, no more than 30 seconds, to just roll to the front end of this what the benefit is. Okay. Then give them quick context. So here's the situation. Then show it to them. Then your closing tell and potentially your call to action. Not that different than a live demo, except rolling that opening tell, if you will, to the front of the meeting. And that opening tell could be, here's your current situation, here's what your desired is. It could be floating the benefit like I talked about, combination of the two. It could be you want to actually highlight something. And you want to show something, something you want to tell them to look for something when they actually watch the live demo. So all of those matter. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put everybody on the webinar on the selection committee. And I'm going to have you chat. So go ahead and open up your chat window, if you wouldn't mind. And as we're going to actually show you a couple of demo videos. Okay. Now, for the basis of this demo video, what I chose is I chose a software solution from SolidWorks that is actually going to build this frame, model and create this frame for an industrial piece of equipment. If you don't know SolidWorks, they're a client of ours. They do 3D CAD design and simulation. It's phenomenal software of what it can do. Talk about feature rich, boy, you can get deep into features here. Okay, so it's a demo of how you create a frame like this and put the welds in it. You'll hear the term weldment in it. All right, that's what you're about to see now. This is a dramatization. Only the names.
Hey, Bob, just so you know, we can't see your screen. I just want to make sure.
Thank you. So I'm going to come back here just so you can see that's what we're going to build. Okay. So I've changed the names to protect the guilty, but you'll know who they are because I'll introduce them. All right. Breaking news. Video demo crimes are still being committed. You get to be the jury. That's what the chat window is for, to be the jury, and you can decide what crime got committed. Is it going to be the so what crime? Or is it the person that's doing the demo calling your baby ugly? Or are we talking in technical terms? So take a listen at this demo.
Welcome back to CAD/CAM tutorial. Today we are going to create this simple steel structure in SolidWorks with the help of weldments features. I hope you like it. So let's see how to use a structural member. We will see many features like a structural member, end cap, gussets, weld beads. I hope you like it. So let's see how to make this one. This is the steel frame we are going to make with the help of SolidWorks weldment tools. So the basic structure size is 750 by 100 millimeter rectangle. Then there is a pillar 500 millimeter long, and there is a vertical square bar, and that is 200 millimeter 45 millimeters. So first we will make frame, then we will assign this structure. This is 80 by 80. Then at the bottom there is a flange, 120 120 10 millimeter. Okay, let's do it later.
Are you dying?
So here you can either choose, first right click, tab, click on weldments. See, weldment environment. Now click 3D sketch. Now first I'll choose here top plane. I'll select here center rectangle. Now see, it's moving perfectly. So this 750, press tab. And this length is 1000 millimeter, enter. Now that's it.
Okay,
Let me choose here line, and I'll select.
enough. Okay. When you think about it, intention and structure, not great, right? So what was the crime? It was so what? No value. There's technobabble in there for sure. But a lot of so what? Like, why does this matter? And what was the intention of the video? Is it, even if it's education, I don't know about you, but if I'm trying to find out like a how-to, how to do something in Zoom, how to do something with a piece of software, and you type in the question and you get a YouTube and it says, it looks like it's a great option, right? Oh, they're going to tell me how to do this. And they go through 18 options of the screen, and they never answer the question until 8 minutes into the video. And even then it's convoluted. Like, get to the point. And what's the benefit of this? So really frustrating. And unfortunately, a lot of demo videos are built that way. No context, no benefits. Now, in contrast to that, let me introduce you to Ian. Ian is with SolidWorks, and Ian is going to show that same demo on weldment with a similar frame, and watch how he does this. Now, first and foremost, we see Ian. Like, oh, wow, this is amazing. There's a human being that's behind this demo. Have you ever thought about that? When you do a demo video, you know, maybe some of you don't think you look on camera. It doesn't matter what you think you look like. People, there's a star factor associated with you being on camera when you do a demo video. So we'll talk about being organized on how to do this, but be on camera. Watch how Ian rolls the benefit to the front of the video, has an intention. You'll see the emotional intention he's going after, and he actually does a nice job with the demo. I'm going to let this play. It's about 3 minutes long, but it's important that you watch how he actually does this and pops back on camera. It's fascinating. Take a listen.
So, how do you guys build welded structures like frames and bases that often form the backbone of your products? I bet you're probably sweeping profiles and building assemblies of individual cut lengths. We can both agree this is time-consuming and complex. Let me show you how SolidWorks streamlines this geometry creation and helps you get your job done faster and more accurately. Oh, one more thing. While we go through, see if you can guess the one thing I really love about SolidWorks weldments. Like many things in SolidWorks, you can start with a sketch, but this is not any old sketch. In fact, here you'll see that we're sketching in 3 dimensions. Creating lines and relations is easy and ensures you build in all the intelligence early. Once the sketch is finished, applying the cross sections couldn't get easier. A library of industry standard profiles are available. Simply select a standard, profile shape and size, and you're off and running. Wow, that really was easy. Now let's clean this up with just a few clicks. Trimming up stock lengths and adding weld gaps will ensure this design can move smoothly from CAD to creation. Looking pretty good. To finish up, let's add some additional information. SolidWorks makes any type of end caps easy to create. Even internal end caps with corner treatments are done in one short step. Gussets are just as easy. Select the faces to position and let SolidWorks do the rest. Simple. Of course, this thing isn't going to hold itself together, so adding a weld bead is as easy as you'd expect. No more manual effort. The last thing to do is to create a material cut list, but look, SolidWorks has been keeping track of all the lengths, quantities and end treatments. No extra work at your end. Now that was really impressive. We took a concept and took it right through to a design you could take to the shop floor, saving you time and effort. Did you guess why I like it so much? Well, go back and look again. Everything is a single part, simple. No large, complex assemblies with lots of components. That keeps everything slimline. The best bit is that if you have SolidWorks, you can use it today. Why don't you try it out?
Okay. Brilliant, right? Did you catch what he did at the opening? You know, he offered some pain on how they're doing it today. He put a little intrigue in there about take a look and see what's one of the things I love about SolidWorks. He talked about what you were going to see ahead of the actual demo itself. When he went into the demo, he did not do a play-by-play. I'm going to click here and then I'm going to do this. He didn't do that. What he did was he just built it and reserved his words for what mattered. Comment just came in. He sprinkled benefits throughout. We call those sprinkled benefits, kind of literal, where throughout that he talked about how easy it was and how it's going to save time. Then at the end, you notice that he you canned right up that value pyramid. He talked about how easy it was to do, why that would lead to less waste, and talked about how that helps a company achieve their goals, right? Great formula for a demo video. So wanted to give you a really good example of a demo video so you got an idea of what it can be. And I get that in that particular case, he was green screened. I mean, I get that. Doesn't have to be the case. I mean, I can build the same thing right in my studio here. Got everything I need, and you do too, probably, or we'll talk about that in a moment, of what you can do in your little mini studio to have a similar experience that you deliver to your buyers, okay? So from here, I want to talk about demo video authenticity, which is kind of an interesting contrast because I've been telling you got to have intention and think about what your excitement is and everything else. Hey, Ian is a regular guy. He's an engineer. He had a lot of those same challenges until we talked to him about just think about what you're trying to get across and are you trying to get excitement, and just a little bit of coaching, and he was there. You can be too, right? And still be within your authentic self. So to do that, when it comes to authenticity, first and foremost, I want you to think about being organized and investing kind of in your setup, okay? When I say organized, if you're not going to use a script for the demo video, which you often won't. I mean, a lot of them are, think about following up after a meeting and you want to, talk about the parking lot items and resolve those items. You're not going to have a script, but if you're organized, you're going to have sticky notes that have your key points that you want to make. And you just put your sticky notes on the stand of your camera as an example. And it's not unusual for somebody to look down for a second and then come back to the camera and talk. It's fine. It's authentic. So be organized. What I mean by invest is, this is my setup here. Now I'm a little geekish when it comes to my setup. I know that about myself. And you, I doubt many of you would have this big screen up above here. But many of you have 2 screens. I get that. So what I've invested in is these lights, these key lights. You know, the reason in theory, I have fairly natural tone and I've got decent lighting in here is because of these key lights that are up here. You know what they cost me? $200. $200 for those. Okay. This microphone. The microphone was a couple $100, along with the boom was $25. Almost everybody has an iPad. If you're going to create demo videos, you'll want to get one of these down here. If you can see it, it's called a Stream Deck. The nice thing about a Stream Deck right down here is it's buttons, and the buttons themselves let you, when you're recording, start a recording, stop a recording, fade to camera, fade off camera. You just hit a button, it does it. It's super cool. It's combined with a piece of software that's open source called OBS. And it's a great way to have your studio set up. So all in, realistically, set aside the big screen on the top, all in, everybody's already got 2 screens and a webcam, a decent webcam. You know, I'm $500-600 into this thing. All right, let me ask you this challenge. If you're going to go on site and do a demo and you wanted to dress appropriately, how much would you spend for a nice jacket? Look at the picture of Sammy here. She's got a nice jacket on, blouse, a good pair of slacks, a nice pair of shoes. Aren't you going to spend that? I mean, this is your career. Like, invest in it. It's totally worth it. And all this stuff works great in a virtual setting as well. So some companies will reimburse for it, some won't. I guess my point is, even if they won't, I'm going to invest in my career. I hope all of you will too. It's worth it. It makes a difference in the impression that you get. I'll tell you this, when this webinar is over with, look at all the different webinars that Consensus has done and posted, and just listen and watch some of them for the quality of it. And you'll get immediate sense of what some of the differences are in sound quality, visual quality, that type of a thing. That's the impression you want to give, right? You want to give the best impression possible. So invest in your environment. So when it comes to authenticity, be organized and invest. If you do, you now have professional authenticity, you know. When it comes to being prepared, have your setup set up appropriately, have your buttons ready. You can do a lot of one-take videos when you get good at this by investing and having the right equipment and getting good at the formula. I make beer in a lot less time now than I used to make because I get how to do the formula and how to sanitize everything and, you know, the order of everything. It'll be the same with your demo videos, okay? And if you're prepared, you can be conversational. I mean, we had a bad situation happen here with Zoom crashing and everybody getting kicked out. And we came back because we're organized and prepared, brought everybody back on and continued on, okay? So be prepared. And then finally, be yourself. Do all the things I'm talking about within your own, you know, body and head space, but stretch a little bit. And if you do those things and apply these formulas of intention, good execution, and authenticity, regardless of what type of demo video you produce, wherever it is in your demo process, you're going to have great outcomes. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and come online. So Sammy, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Thanks everybody for jumping back on. We're sorry about that technical difficulty earlier, but We're back and Bob is still here. There's a good portion of you that jumped back on. We're so grateful for that. If you guys have any questions for Bob, I've seen a couple come through the Q&A box. Go ahead and drop them in the Q&A box versus the chat, because the chat can get a little cluttered. So we'll get started with these couple questions. We did see a couple questions come through before the meeting crashed. If you guys asked those questions, if you could redrop them in here. They did not transfer over when we jumped back in. So, but we'll get started with these ones for now. So, is there any case where we do start with the 30-second benefit speech in our opening tell during a live demo?
Absolutely. It's just one of those things where you need to use it very selectively. So if it's a area of the solution that is very differentiating, that is really important, that particular demo topic lands, you can most certainly roll a benefit up into the front end of your opening tell. Make it crisp. Don't belabor it. Again, you haven't proven anything. And I can't stress that enough. To make sure that you let the software prove your benefits, right? So it's a crisp benefit. Then take the moment on context, then the demo, then go back to the benefit. And then if it's that important of a benefit, you can the benefit up the value pyramid. Here's my point. I'm just going to go to live demos for a moment and talk about this proof thing. I see a lot of salespeople hand it over to a pre-sales person, and their portion of the demo will start off with slides that talk about the capabilities of the solution and the benefits. And I will tell you, having talked to thousands of buyers as well, that's pretty frustrating for buyers, because they're kind of like, get on with it. You haven't, in their minds, they're just saying, you haven't proven anything yet. You haven't shown us anything yet. How are you making all these claims? And it's similar to that in a live demo. And the only reason we're breaking that rule a little bit with a demo video is, again, because so many people drop off at the end of the demo video. So they need to hear a little bit of a benefit at the front end that gives them a reason to watch. So those are some examples, I think, that apply to live versus a demo video.
Awesome. One of the questions from earlier, I'm not sure if this was addressed as I was trying to figure out the Zoom situation, but one of the questions from earlier that I remember was, what is your recommended time frame of a video demo? What have you seen the most success with?
Absolutely south of 4 minutes. We usually see pretty good success and kind of drive people towards about 3 minutes. It's pretty hard to get one in 2 minutes and have any discussion of benefit. But if you hit around three minutes, it seems to be a sweet spot in terms of when you look at viewing statistics. People will watch the majority of a 3-minute video.
Cool. Sounds good. What's the best medium in which to record for quality and upload to YouTube?
Well, no doubt the best medium is recording raw video right onto your computer and then uploading. So to win, we use, for the most part, we use a collector, this shareware, openware product called OBS. You can download it, go online, do a search on it, and you can download it and use it for free. It's essentially a collector of all of the different devices in voice and camera and all that, and it lets you use Stream Deck, which has OBS plugins to it, where actually you can create buttons on it that allow you to do your mixes. Podcasters use a lot when they're trying to switch from one thing to another. And when it comes to the video, it actually takes the raw video and puts it on your hard drive. Then you get the highest quality. So when you there's a record button in OBS that combines all those elements into the one video. It's beautiful. And then you can take that finished video, you can throw it on an editor if you need to, shorten it or cut scenes out. Or a lot of times we do things one take and we'll just send it right up to whatever's hosting our demo video. I saw YouTube, but of course we encourage you to use Consensus for the hosting.
All right.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. How do you deal with an audience that isn't engaging? And when asking if there are any questions during a live demo, do you ask open questions to the audience, like, how are you doing this today, etc.?
Never. And that's not demo video. We're outside demo video for a moment. So this is more in live demo, but if you're in a virtual setting, well, let me go back. If you're in a live setting in person, you can actually make eye contact with people and call somebody by name because you can see by their face that they've got a question, right? One of the things in a virtual demo is if you can get people on camera, and one of the roles you can give the salesperson in the demo is to watch people's faces. And if it looks like somebody's got a question or concern, would you call it to my attention? Like something like, hey, Bob, I think Sammy might have a question or a concern. Like, oh, thanks, Jamie. Sammy, did you have a question or, and I can address her. That obviously requires the people on the other end to be on camera, which is why you need to be on camera. Because if you're not on camera, they won't be on camera. It's a proven fact. Now, if they aren't on camera anyway, and you want to know whether anyone has any questions, you should have a roster. I mean, there's not going to be that many people in a typical demo, a roster of the people, and you'll use this technique. I would do this. I would say, especially if Sammy was not on camera right now, I'd say, hey, Sammy, I want to pause here and ask you, do you have any questions or any comments based upon what you've seen so far? How are you doing with what you've seen so far? Now, you notice I led with her name. Then I asked the question, then I come back to her. That gives her, and I'll say, by the way, Sammy, you're on mute. If you use people's names from a multitasking standpoint, if they happen to be doing email or something else, everybody has an antenna for their name. They'll hear it. But you can't run your question right next to their name. So it's, Sammy, in a moment, I want to ask you a question. You just give her a second to task switch. She comes over and then you've got her attention. And then you move the conversation around the room and it continually encouraging people to chat in questions or concerns. So it's all about engagement.
Yeah, that's a great way to keep people engaged. I've never thought about it like that, but I love that.
Yeah, it works really well.
Awesome. We have a little bit more time, so we'll try and squeeze in these last couple questions. Sure. Going back to the OBS system that you were talking about before, this person is wondering if you're using OBS with Zoom.
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Okay.
OBS and Zoom play really well together until you try and use the camera. Again, OBS is going to take my camera and combine it with my graphics and everything else. And it works great if, like my iPad, you saw me having to do a little bit of work with the iPad to switch and share the screen and that type of thing. In OBS, I can just hit a button and it works. It's great. Unfortunately, with video and OBS, and I've done a lot of searching on this, I was not able to find a very good fix to the problem with the video feed being kind of like every third frame it glitches. It's just trying to push too much out, I think. And so it doesn't work very good with Zoom.
Right.
There are some workarounds, but for this particular session, I decided to just go native, if you will, with Zoom and the other devices.
Cool. All right. Maybe we could squeeze in this one last question. This person's wondering if it's a good idea to include and discuss the current state of affairs such as geopolitical situations and materialistic shortage issues using show tell show process in the demo video / demo presentation.
Well, if I heard the question correctly, geopolitical, probably more like the economic situation, yes. Because I think that the faster you can, and the more urgency you can create to making sure people know, hey, you need to get this application and implementation started, because you'll need these efficiencies if there's a sizable downturn in the market, right? That kind of message and intention, I think, is very appropriate in a demo video. As far as things like Ukraine war and things like that, I generally avoid them. I don't know where somebody stands. I don't know if they have a family member that's Russian, or they have a family member that's Ukrainian, or that, I guess I stay away from those situations when it comes to that. I'd encourage you to do the same.
Cool. All right. Well, that was all the time we have for today. We're just at the top of the hour. We want to thank you so much, Bob, for joining us today. Thank you.
Always like working with you guys. Yeah, you're fantastic.
Thank you. We love working with you as well. We will compile both of the recordings from the previous and this session. We don't know what happened, but we'll figure it out, and we'll compile those, and we'll get the recording out to everyone. Thanks so much to Bob. We hope to see a lot of you live and in person. Silicon Valley Demo Fest X is happening later.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and we'll be session. We're going to talk about Rule of 24, right? The current buyer experience and the need for acceleration. So you'll want to be there.
Yeah. So come listen to 2Win Global live and in person in Silicon Valley. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed today's session. We'll follow up via email with the recording later today. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.